The graveyard was quiet, too quiet. A cold wind brushed through the tall trees, carrying with it the sound of rustling leaves and unspoken regrets. The sky was gray, heavy with clouds, as if even the heavens were mourning. A young man stood alone before a freshly covered grave. His hands trembled. His eyes were red. His heart was shattered beyond repair. The name carved into the cold stone read, Mariam, a loving mother. The man dropped to his knees. "I'm sorry, Amy," he whispered, his voice breaking. "I'm so sorry. I should have said it earlier." But the grave did not answer, because some apologies are spoken too late. A son named Ahmed was not always a bad son. That's a child. He used to run into his mother's arms after school. Mariam would wipe his dusty face, kiss his forehead, and smile, like her whole world lived inside that small boy. She was a widow. Ahmed's father had died when Ahmed was only 6 years old. From that day on, Mariam became both mother and father. She stitched clothes at night. She skipped meals so Ahmed could eat. She prayed with tears so her son could have a better future. "Amy, when I grow up I'll buy you a big house," little Ahmed used to say. Mariam would laugh softly. "I don't want a big house," she replied. "I just want you near me." Success changed everything. Years passed. Ahmed grew up, and life changed. He studied hard, got a good job, and slowly climbed the ladder of success. With success came pride, and with pride came distance. He moved to the city. Then came marriage. His wife Sarah was educated, modern, and confident. She loved Ahmed, but she did not understand his bond with his mother. "Why does she interfere in everything?" Sarah would complain. "Why does she need you all the time?" Ahmed stayed silent. At first, at the beginning of neglect, Mariam noticed the change. Ahmed's calls became shorter. His visits became rare. His tone became cold. Still, she waited. Every evening, Mariam would sit near the door, listening for footsteps that never came. She would whisper to herself, "He must be busy. My son will come." Sometimes she cooked his favorite food only to throw it away at night, untouched. The day everything broke one evening, Mariam gathered courage and called Ahmed. "Beta, you haven't visited in months," she said softly. "I miss you." Ahmed sighed. "Amy, please, don't start again," he replied impatiently. "I have my own life now." The words cut deeper than any knife. "I only wanted to hear your voice," Mariam whispered. Ahmed hung up. He did not know that would be the last proper conversation with his mother. Loneliness is a silent killer. Days turned into weeks. Mariam fell ill. There was no one to notice her fever, no one to bring medicine, no one to ask, "Amy, are you okay?" She lay on her bed, staring at the ceiling, clutching Ahmed's childhood photos. "My son," she murmured, "just once, call me." But the phone stayed silent. A call that changed everything. One night, Ahmed's phone rang. An unknown number. "Is this Ahmed?" A shaky voice asked. "Yes," he replied. "This is your neighbor." The voice continued. "Your mother, she collapsed. She's in the hospital." The world stopped. Ahmed's heart pounded. "What, Amy?" he whispered, but it was already late. The hospital corridor. Ahmed ran through the hospital corridors, his breath uneven, his mind screaming. When he reached the room, the bed was empty. A doctor approached him gently. "I'm sorry," the doctor said. "We tried our best." Ahmed felt the ground slip beneath his feet. No, please," he cried. "I didn't even say sorry." Back to the grave, and now, here he was, kneeling before her grave. Ahmed pressed his forehead to the cold earth. "Amy, I chose my comfort over your tears," he sobbed. "I thought you'd always be there." His cries echoed through the silent graveyard. But a mother's love, once lost, never comes back. When regret becomes a prisoner, Ahmed did not remember how long he stayed at the grave. Minutes, hours, maybe a lifetime. His tears soaked the soil that covered his mother's body. The same hands that once fed him, washed him, prayed for him, now rested beneath the cold earth. "I came too late," he whispered. "I always came too late." The house that felt empty after the burial. Ahmed returned to his mother's small house. The door creaked as he pushed it open. Everything was exactly the same. Her slippers lay near the doorway. A folded shawl rested on the chair. The smell of old medicine still lingered in the air. Ahmed took one step inside and collapsed. This house had waited for him every day, and now it would wait forever. Her last unfinished day on the table. Ahmed saw a plate. Cold, untouched. It was his favorite food. His hands shook as he lifted the plate. "She cooked for me," he cried, "even when I wasn't coming." Nearby he found her medicine strips still full. She had not taken them. Why? Because Mariam always said, "I'll take it after Ahmed comes." The diary he never knew about in the corner of the room. Ahmed noticed a small old notebook. Curious, trembling, he picked it up. It was his mother's diary. She had never been educated much, but she wrote slowly, carefully, like she was talking to her heart. Ahmed opened the first page. "Today Ahmed did not call. It's okay. He must be busy. I heard his voice in my dream last night. I woke up smiling. My fever is high today. If Ahmed were here, he'd scold me for not resting." Ahmed's tears fell onto the pages. She was suffering, and still protecting him from guilt. The last page was dated 3 days before her death. The handwriting was shaky. "I feel weak today. If this is my last day, I forgive my son. May Allah protect him always. Ahmed screamed. She forgave him, even when he never asked. That night, Ahmed couldn't sleep. Every memory returned like punishment. His mother standing at the door, waiting her missed calls. He ignored her trembling voice. He silenced. He remembered the day she asked softly, "Beta, have I become a burden?" He had replied coldly, "Ami, please don't be emotional." That sentence now echoed in his head, again and again, and again. At home, Sarah noticed Ahmed's change. He no longer spoke, no longer ate, no longer slept. One night, she asked carefully, "Ahmed, are you okay?" He laughed bitterly. "Okay," he said. "My mother died thinking she was a burden." Sarah fell silent. For the first time, she realized what had been lost. A son broken beyond repair. Ahmed stopped going to work. He avoided people. He avoided mirrors, because every reflection reminded him of the son who failed. He visited the grave every single day. He talked to her like she was still alive. "Ami, I got promoted today. I cooked your food today. I miss you." But graves don't reply. The dream that changed him. One night, Ahmed dreamed. He saw his mother sitting on a prayer mat, wearing white. She looked peaceful. Calm, beautiful. "Ami." He cried and ran to her. She smiled softly. "Why are you crying, my son?" she asked. "I hurt you," Ahmed sobbed. "I left you alone." She touched his head. "My child, a mother's heart never keeps anger." Ahmed woke up crying, but her voice stayed with him, a promise made to Latha next morning. Ahmed stood at her grave again. "I promise you, Ami," he said, his voice firm through tears. "I will never forget you. I will help mothers who are abandoned. I will be the son I should have been." The wind blew softly, as if she heard him. Some pain does not scream. It sits quietly inside you and eats you alive. Ahmed learned this the hard way. Months passed. The world continued. People laughed. Cars honked. Life went on. But for Ahmed, time had stopped the day his mother was buried. Every morning he woke up expecting to hear her voice. "Ahmed, wake up, you'll be late." But there was only silence. The old woman outside the mosque. One evening, Ahmed stopped outside a mosque after Maghrib prayer. Near the gate, an old woman sat alone. Her clothes were clean but worn. Her hands shook as she held a small bag. Ahmed noticed something familiar, the way she looked at every passing man, hoping one of them was her son. His heart tightened. A mother without a son. Ahmed approached gently. "Ami, are you waiting for someone?" he asked. The woman looked up, surprised. "Yes, Beta," she replied softly. "My son promised to come today." Ahmed swallowed hard. "Does he come often?" he asked. She smiled weakly. "He used to, before marriage." Those words hit him like thunder. Helping her was hurting him from that day. Ahmed began visiting the mosque regularly. He brought the old woman food, sometimes medicine, sometimes just company. She reminded him of Mariam, the way she prayed, the way she spoke about her son with hope, not anger. One day she said, "My son doesn't call anymore, but I pray for him every night." Ahmed couldn't hold it in. He turned his face away and cried. "A confession without a name, Ami," Ahmed said one evening, his voice shaking. "Do mothers forgive sons who forget them?" The old woman placed her hand on his. "A mother forgives even before the mistake," she said. "That's why Allah placed Jannah under her feet." Ahmad closed his eyes. That sentence felt like a wound, and a mercy. Sarah finally understands at home. Sarah noticed Ahmed leaving food packed every evening. "Where do you go?" she asked. Ahmed replied quietly, "To meet the pain I ignored." One night he finally told her everything, how his mother waited, how she died alone, how forgiveness came too late. Sarah cried silently. "I didn't stop you from loving her," she whispered, "but I didn't encourage it either." That guilt became hers. Ahmed decided to move back into his mother's old house. Sarah agreed. But first night there was unbearable. Every corner carried Mariam's presence. Ahmed slept on the floor near her bed like a child, seeking protection. Ahmed started speaking to his mother out loud. "Ami, today I helped someone. Ami, I cooked your food. Ami, I wish you were here." Sometimes Sarah heard him. She never interrupted. Some conversations are not meant for living years. One night, Ahmed dreamed again. He saw himself as a child, running, crying, lost, and his mother standing far away. "Ami," he screamed. She looked at him lovingly, sadly. "Why didn't you call me, Ahmed?" she asked. "I was waiting." He woke up screaming her name. Ahmed understood something that night. This was his punishment, not hellfire, not anger, but living every day knowing he could have done better. He began writing letters. Letters he buried near her grave. Letters saying everything he never said when she was alive. In one letter, he wrote, "Ami, if love could bring you back, my heart would have stopped beating long ago." That night, for the first time, he slept peacefully. Some words are not meant for ears, they are meant for graves. It was raining the day. Ahmed went to the graveyard again, not a gentle rain, but the kind that soaks clothes and hearts alike. Mud clung to his shoes as he walked slowly toward her grave. Maryam. His mother, the woman who waited her whole life and died waiting. Ahmed stood there for a long time, saying nothing, because pain sometimes steals language. Ahmed knelt down and placed his forehead on the grave. His shoulders shook. I was successful in the world, he whispered, but I failed where it mattered most. The rain mixed with his tears. I thought you would always forgive me, he continued. I thought you would always be there. His voice broke. I didn't know Allah would take you back before I could say sorry. The words he never said. Ahmed placed his hand on the soil. Ami, thank you, he said softly, for every night you slept hungry, for every prayer you made in silence, for every tear you hid behind your smile. He cried like a child. I was busy building my life, while you were losing yours. A mother's silence. There was no reply. Only wind, only rain, only silence. But Ahmed felt something strange, not forgiveness, but peace. As if she was saying, I never stopped loving you. The promise that will outlive him. Ahmed stood up, wiping his face. I will speak your name with respect, he said firmly. I will remind people that mothers don't ask for much, just a little time, a little love. He looked at the grave one last time. You raised me alone, he whispered. I will not let your sacrifice be forgotten. Ahmed turned away from the grave. But his story did not end there. He began visiting old homes, hospitals, abandoned mothers, not for praise, not for peace, but because every lonely mother reminded him of his own. Years later, years passed. Ahmed grew older. His hair turned gray, but one thing never changed. Every Friday, he visited the grave. He would sit quietly and say, Ami, I'm still trying. One evening as the sun set, Ahmed whispered his final words. If you are listening, please know this. He smiled through tears. I finally became the son you deserved. The wind passed gently over the grave. And somewhere beyond this world, a mother's soul rested in peace. Sometimes, the hardest punishment is not losing someone. People often asked Ahmed, if you could go back in time, what would you change? Ahmed never answered immediately, because the answer hurt too much. If Ahmed had one more day with his mother, he would wake up early. Not for work, not for success, but for her. He would sit beside her quietly. No phone, no excuses. He would hold her hands, the hands that worked until they trembled. He would look into her tired eyes and say, Ami, I see you now. I see what you gave up for me. I see the nights you cried alone. He would press his forehead to her feet and whisper, I don't need the world anymore. I just need you. He would make tea for her, sit with her, listen to her stories again, even the ones he once called boring. He would let her complain, let her advise, let her love him freely, because a mother's voice becomes priceless once it turns into silence. But Ahmed never got that day. Life does not give reminders. Death does not wait for apologies. That is why Ahmed began speaking to people, not as a preacher, but as a broken son. He would say, don't be me. Don't stand at a grave holding flowers instead of time. He would pause and add, you can buy everything later, except one more day with your mother. Ahmed often whispered to himself at night, she waited her whole life for me, and I couldn't wait a few minutes for her. That sentence stayed with him forever. If this story touched your heart, go call her, sit with her, because one day, sorry will echo back from the ground, and love will stay silent.